Happy 3 weeks of parenthood to me. They say that it takes babies 6 months to realize that they're no longer in the womb. I think it's taken me up to this point to realize that he's no longer like inside of me as well. I used to have this thing when I was pregnant where I would drive and I would turn my music up so that he could hear Taylor Swift. Let's be honest, I pretty much only listen to Taylor Swift. And I went to do that yesterday in the car and I realized, oh my gosh, he's not inside of me anymore. I'm just getting used to the idea of like going places and being truly alone, which is something that I looked so forward to when I was pregnant. And now that it's happened, it's a little bit sad, but also I'm really grateful that he's here. So it's like swings and roundabouts. This week, I think our big breakthrough has been with the breastfeeding. If you know, then you know that I had some difficulties to begin with. I was using a nursing shield and I was pretty much relying solely on the nursing shield, I would say, for the first 2 weeks. I'd gotten a lactation consultant in to help me and he had latched when she was in the room, but it felt like as soon as she left the room, he no longer wanted to latch. But I now feel like I figured it out, or we have figured it out, I should say, because it's a dance, right? Breastfeeding's a dance. So I think we've gone a good, like, 2 or 3 days now of solely feeding without the shield. So that feels like a win. One thing that I found helped me, it was kind of like an accidental discovery. I took a warm shower and then went to feed him afterwards. And I thought, let me try it without the shield. And bada bing, bada boom. That was the first time that it really started to stick. So then I moved to a system of trying to only use the shield when it was like 3 a.m. and I was exhausted and he wasn't latching. And that worked for a while. But yeah, now I feel like we're at a place where, as I said, for the last few days, I haven't used the shield at all. Although breastfeeding is just so hard. Like, I don't think I understood before I was doing it the nuance of why it is so difficult. An added stress that you have when you're exclusively breastfeeding is you don't know if he's getting enough. You have no idea how much he's taking. Like, you can feel your girls getting soft at the end of a feed, which is a good sign, but you don't know for sure. In other news, we had our pediatrician appointment this week, which brings me on to this point around not knowing how much he's eating. And he hadn't gained as much weight as she had wanted. She said it was nothing to worry about, but she would have liked to have seen more weight gain. And so she recommended that we kind of top him up with an ounce or so after every feed. So we've been trying to do that as much as possible. So this week we also introduced an occasional bottle. I ordered so many bottles when I was pregnant, but it was only when the lactation consultant was here that she showed me why all of the bottles that I got were pretty much a waste of money and time. Basically, she put water in them and then tipped them upside down without squeezing them or doing anything, and they just started leaking water. And she said, this is why babies will tend to, like, if you give them a bottle that's too easy, they will then not want to go back on the breast. We finally found a bottle that doesn't do that. We got there in the end. In terms of sleep, at one point I was staying up until 11:30 to do my last feed of the night and then waking up every 3 hours. I am now in the frame of mind where I'm just like, I'm gonna go to bed earlier, get my sleep in, and then wake up at 11:30. So I did that last night and I feel much better rested today. And speaking of routine, today we are starting the Moms on Call routine, which so far has been going pretty good. It's pretty basic. It's essentially rotations of eat, play, nap. And he's taking his first nap in his crib, which is adorable, although I didn't swaddle him as well as I could have, if we're being honest, but that's okay. You win some, you lose some. One thing we're not going to be following from the routine is they say at like 2 to 4 weeks to only wake them up once during the night. So far, I've been continuing to wake him up every 3 hours. And then we'll do 1 4-hour stretch, which is what our pediatrician okayed us for. Even knowing when he's going to be napping mentally gives me more peace of mind to know, okay, like, this is the plan for the day, all things going well. It's really hard to plan with a baby. I don't know if anyone's said this before or noticed this before. We also this week had a lot of bouts of just wondering if certain things are normal. Like, he tends to get very kind of crusty eyes. But having spoken to our pediatrician, apparently this is just something that happens to babies because they have tiny, tiny tear ducts. So that's where we're at. Our snoo broke. We got the secondhand snoo that they sell on their website, and at first it was working, but the sound kind of stopped working on us. So they're sending us a new one, but it does make me think that maybe I should have just paid the full price for like a totally brand new one, just to know that I was getting like a new model that was like in a good spot. It is what it is. It is still working. We have a sound machine, so we've just been using that instead of the sound on the actual snoo. That also happened this week, unfortunately. Today we're doing our first long stint out of the house. We're going to my in-laws for Easter. Wish us luck. Who knows how the routine's gonna fit in at someone else's house. I guess we'll find out. A little bit of flexibility is good, I'm trying to tell myself. But yeah, that's where we're at with week 3. Let me know if any questions. I hope it helps. And I'm sorry if this is a little bit rushed. I'm just mindful that my son could wake up at any moment, so I'm trying to like make the most of my time. Gosh, cat eyes are so hard to do. Anyway, I'll fix this later.